Alright guys, it's Otaku Phil here. It's been a minute since I've had any sort of update, so I figured I'd give you guys an update, answer a few questions, and, go from there. So, I haven't posted anything in a couple weeks because literally I've been so busy. So busy. Basically, what happened is, so Los Angeles has a large group of new drivers, a large group of drivers, period. So, but we don't really have tons of runs, you know. So, I just recently found out the reason that is because Los Angeles is the what's the word repository for extra board drivers. So, if you don't know, extra board drivers are drivers who can pick up extra runs. They can cover drivers when they need to book off, regular route drivers when they need to take the day off or go on vacation or all that good stuff. If they need an extra bus for a specific run, they do all that. So that's what I've been doing. I do. Everybody starts off as an extra board driver, and after being at your location for a bit, you can bid for runs, a regular, set run, and the runs are done by seniority. So if you're in a place that has a lot of senior drivers, it's going to take you a bit longer to get a run than a place that's smaller that doesn't have a lot of drivers. For example, LA has a lot of senior drivers and it has a lot of drivers. So it's going to take a minute to get a set run, and you work the extra board. So that's the downside. But the upside is when you're an extra board driver, you get tons of incentives and extra pay that you wouldn't get if you were a run driver. For example, if you're doing a run, like one of the runs I know is a Phoenix run, and you go from LA to Phoenix, and you spend about 15 hours in Phoenix, and then you come back. Uh, if you're a regular run driver, you get paid to drive out there, you rest, you spend those 15 hours there, and you go back, and you get paid to drive back. But if you're an extra board driver, you actually get paid extra for sitting around. So because it's all part of one run, you would get paid to make the run out there. Then you get paid to get fresh and wait for your bus to leave, because the fresh time is only like 9 hours. So anything after that 9 hours, you actually get paid in what they call protection, and it's basically to make sure that you're there and that you are available to take that run back. But and you've been assigned to it, so you're basically, that's your run. So you get extra money. You get money that you wouldn't make if you were just doing that on a daily basis. Plus, if you're, let's say, you've been on the road for a bit and you haven't returned home to your home terminal, you get those, what do they call it? You get the second rest, you get the meal pays, you get all those little pays that you normally wouldn't get if you were just working a regular run. But of course, if you were working a regular run, you get the incentive of having a set schedule. You get set pay. You can take you can, if you work extra days outside of those days, you get the time and a half or whatever, the little extra pay for working on your days off, stuff like that. So it's those kind of little things. So I've been working a lot of extra board, and because LA has a lot of drivers, I don't always get LA runs. So I had just like a crazy past few weeks. So they had me ride a bus from LA to Sacramento. I get to Sacramento, and they wanted me in Sacramento just in case to take another bus out. Well, they didn't need me. So I sat in Sacramento, and then they flew me from Sacramento to Denver. And then the job I was supposed to do in Denver, they actually decided to give it to another person because he was a local driver. And again, they just had me there just in case they needed me. And then they had me sit on a bus going from Denver to Albuquerque. And I drove a bus from Albuquerque to Phoenix. And then I drove from Phoenix back to LA. And then I spent the night in LA. And then the very next day, they called me and were like, "Hey, we need." He goes, "We need some drivers in Texas. You want to go to Texas?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go to Texas. You know, it's extra money, whatever. You got some long runs out there, some big money runs." So they flew me to El Paso, and I did the El Paso to San Antonio run. And that's a long run. That's like 10 hours or so of driving. It really puts you at your limit of your daily allowed driving. I did that twice, where I went from El Paso to San Antonio back to El Paso. Then I went from El Paso to Van Horn, Texas. I rode the bus, and then I drove from Van Horn over to Dallas. And the bus I was riding on freaking broke down, and we were stuck for a couple hours. But you know, they got a replacement driver or a replacement bus out there pretty quickly, and I ended up splitting that run because I was running low on hours with another driver. Then I went from Dallas to Amarillo, and Amarillo. Yeah, I went from Dallas to Amarillo, which was like about a 7 hour, almost 8 hour drive. And then I got stuck in Amarillo. Yeah, so I went to Amarillo and I got stuck because first I was low on hours. You know, you can't drive more than 70 hours a week. And when I got to Amarillo, I had 2 hours on my 70. So what they do is every 24 hours, you get back 24 hours minus 7 days. Right? So 7 days before, you minus those hours that you worked, and it goes back to what you're 70. So I picked up like 8 hours. So I had, you know, like 10 or 12 hours when I was said and done the next day. They were like, "We're gonna have you do this run," and they didn't need me. They gave it to a driver who was a local driver, because local drivers get priority over drivers from other places. If a local driver could do it, a driver from out of town will get that run. So I sat in Amarillo for like 2 days, for like, oh no, almost 3 days. I sat in Amarillo, and then, you know, at this time I'd already been out for just like almost 11, 12 days, and I told him, I said, you know what, I'm getting real tired, wanted to go home, but the thing is, I wanted to work. You know, I made a lot of good money. You know, in like 4 days of just being in Texas, I pulled in like $1,000. You know, I pulled over $1,000 because I had second rest, I had meal pay, I had you know, a couple delayed pays from the schedule being delayed. You know, so I pulled in. I think I have to estimate within 4 days of doing those runs in Texas, I pulled in maybe around $1,300 or $1,400 in just 1 week, or not even a week, in 4 days. 4 days of work, I pulled in about $1,300 gross before taxes. So that was cool. That was pretty cool. And then, but Amarillo didn't have runs, so I told Amarillo I wanted to start heading back west. Amarillo didn't have any runs, so they started. So they literally just flew me from Amarillo to Dallas, and then from Dallas to Las Vegas, and then I drove from Las Vegas to back to LA. Spent the night in LA, and then I decided that I was going to take 2 days off this weekend to spend with the family for the holidays. So I'm back in Vegas. I just did a run from the local run from Los Angeles to Vegas, and now I'm back in Vegas. I just finished doing that run, and it's not too bad. It's like a 7 hour drive, not that big a deal. I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy the local runs because even though some of the local runs seem like they're longer, it gives you more opportunities to take a break. You know, it can be pretty rough when you're just going straight for, you know, hours and hours on end. Like in the San Antonio run. Oh my God, they had a couple where it was like between stops, it was like 5 hours. You know, pushing yourself for driving for 5 hours in between stops, it can be rough. You know, 5 hours straight, yeah, it can be real rough. So that's what I've been up to. Super busy. So the next thing is somebody asked me about some of the videos. So I had to take down a couple videos. So what happened is I got a call from Greyhound Corporate, right? And the whole thing was they loved the videos. It was very positive because I'm a positive guy. You know, enjoy my job. You know, there are times where you know you're driving and you're just like, it's a little strenuous. It feels a little draining. But you know, just dealing with the people, getting to drive such a huge bus, literally just going to all different types of places, it immediately snaps in my mind that you know I'm like, I work for Greyhound and I work for you know a company where I pretty much they're sending me all over. You know, this is something cool about being like a driving slash jet setting driver where you know they call me like, hey, you want to go here, you want to go there, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know, so that's cool. But so what happened is because some of the videos showed the terminal, and there were a couple where it showed some of the employees. They were afraid that I was representing the company in an unauthorized way. So I'm not authorized to be a, I'm not authorized to press the company or be part of the press. So they decided that they wanted to review my videos to make sure that you know everything you know security stuff wise was good, and that as far as they go, as their press stuff goes, their press company is everything's authorized. So I had to take the videos down pending review and stuff like that, and you know they were like they'll work with me and we'll try to bring some more videos and stuff like that. I definitely told them that you know I wanted to do the classic buses and get a look on the inside and the outside of the classic buses, and you know they're very enthusiastic about it. And so hopefully we can get that done, and I can show you guys those buses. So that's what happened to those few videos that I had to take down. They don't have a problem with showing the outside of the bus, but they didn't want me to show the platforms, and they didn't want me to show the maintenance and wash areas. You know, they were concerned about that until they approve it. So that's what's happening with that. Hopefully, you know, get those approved and get them back up. If not, whatever. You know, in the last video I did, you know, I'm not just a Greyhound fan. I like buses and big vehicles in general. You know, if I get a chance to drive a truck, I'll do a video. You know, if I make friends with somebody from another company and they got a different bus, I'll try and show you guys. So there's that. So that's what happened to those videos. You know, I've had a couple people ask me in the past few days what happened to those videos. That's what happened to them. I just wanted to answer one other question. I had a question about physical fitness. So, Greyhound doesn't do physical fitness tests. They don't monitor your physical fitness directly. What it is when you get your commercial license, you actually have a federal health card that you have to get. And the federal health card has to be renewed depending on your base health. So for me, because you know I'm fairly young, I'm not super obese, you know, I'm a little chubby, but whatever. They gave me a 2-year card. So once every 2 years, they evaluate my physical fitness, and they give me that card. And then Greyhound Safety and Health reviews that and makes sure that that's all on the up and up. But we've had plenty of big guys who, you know, they got 1-year cards, so every year they have to go back and get a re-physical to make sure that they're still healthy enough to drive. But Greyhound doesn't do any direct physical fitness test. They do have a health and fitness advisor who comes and he you know checks your blood pressure, checks your weight and stuff like that, and he will advise you. But you know, we got plenty of big guys. We got plenty of big guys, big women. You know, if you got a few pounds on you, you know, as long as you are healthy enough to drive that bus, stay awake, and get those people there safely, that's all you need to do. So don't worry about I wouldn't worry about as far as Greyhound's concerned whether you're overweight or not or healthy enough. If you make sure that you can pass that basic federal, because it's a federal physical, and it's just basic stuff. You know, they just do blood pressure. They check, you know, your height and weight, and they check your breathing, they check your heart and all that stuff. They just want to make sure you're not going to pass out behind the wheel, you know, because you got low blood sugar, or, you know, you're morbidly obese or whatever. So I personally wouldn't worry about it. I've seen some pretty big guys that came through and they got their 1 or 2 year cards. So if physical fitness is is an issue with you, I would more be concerned about whether you can stay up. You know, if you're a person who has
I've met people who just had a hard time staying awake, no matter what they're doing. If you have a hard time staying awake, you should really reevaluate whether you want to be a driver. Because whether you're driving buses, whether you're driving trucks, you're gonna be up for a long period of time. I was in class with one or two guys that just couldn't hack it because they didn't realize that it's a big difference between staying up watching TV and working for 4 or 5 hours straight than sitting behind the wheel of a vehicle driving down the highway for 4 to 5 hours. It's a real drain. You will feel it. You will feel really tired, even if you've had a good night's rest. Your mind is not active, and you get that tunnel vision. It gets harder and harder. So beware of that. If it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I've had days where I've tried to get in as many hours as I can, tried to work as hard as much as I can and get that extra pay, and then at the end of the week I felt like crap. I was just like, fuck, my head is spinning, I'm having a hard time focus, and I was really just fatigued. I didn't think I was fatigued because I was sleeping for, 8, 9 hours, or, I was resting, but I wasn't getting the sufficient amount of rest. I had to make up that rest. I had to spend more time really just relaxing, and that's what I love about Greyhound is, there's opportunities. They don't have a problem. They would rather you be safe than worry about you getting the schedule there on time. I've heard stories. I haven't witnessed it yet, but I've heard plenty of times where people were just like, what? They were driving. I've been driving for a long time, and they were just like, I'm just too tired. Somebody else needs to come take this bus. They would rather you did that than crash that bus or try to push yourself and hit something. So they're cool like that. They're not gonna. He goes, at any time, if you tell them, hey, I just feel way too tired, they are not going to push you to drive that bus because it's not safe. It's their money, it's their it's the safety of the passengers, it's your safety. They don't want you to be driving if you're too tired. So I wouldn't worry about as far as Greyhound goes with your physical fitness. As long as you pass the commercial and federal physical fitness and you get your card. Let me see if I think I have my card here somewhere. I keep it in my wallet. They give you a little, they don't give you a card, they give you like a little piece of paper. I think this is it. So they give you a little piece of paper. You have to keep it with you along with your license. Yeah. They give you a little piece of paper, it's the medical examiner's certificate. And it basically just says that you're physically fit enough to operate your vehicle, and for how long before you need to get another physical to make sure that you're continuously physically fit enough to operate that vehicle. So I just wanted to answer that question. I'll try and keep you guys updated. I'm going to do some more videos when I get the chance. It's the end of the year, so I've been trying to save up as much as I can. I got a couple projects. I still need to get my freaking Beetle's engine rebuilt, and that's going to cost me like $1,000 or $2,000. So I've been working, trying to get that money, because it's rough. I've been away from home for a bit. It's a strain. It can be a strain on a relationship. I had to go back home and deal with my cat. My cat got sick, and I had to put him in the vet, and that cuts into my time and my money. And trust me, it can be rough. So, I'll try to keep you guys updated. Keep asking questions. I'll try to answer them. Again, let me reiterate: these are my experiences. These are things that I've come across. This may not be your specific experience. It is not a general experience for Greyhound. These are just the things I've come across. I am not an official spokesperson for Greyhound. I am just a professional driver, and these are the things I've come across working for a major company. So if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge, and this will all be my opinions and what I've been doing. There are plenty of people who are not living the life I'm living. I've come across plenty of drivers who, they're doing the basic runs. They're staying in their area. They're not flying to different places. They're not making, a bunch of money because they just want to be home every day. So it really is what you make it, But keep asking questions. I appreciate you guys watching my videos, and if you have any questions, anything you want to see, I'll see what I can show you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.